baby steps. It's another day, don't forget, 'cause just a prayer away. Don't give up now, trust the process and keep learning. And if you need a friend, we're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, 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 together as a family in faith and melody.
Hello, hello, and welcome back, everyone, to another episode of INCRadio's Faith and Melody, the program where we have deep, rich, and life-affirming conversations while listening to inspiring Iglesia Ni Cristo original music. And on today's episode, we'll explore the idea of progress over perfection. How it's not about how it's not about having it all figured out. It's about showing up, learning from our mistakes, and moving forward little by little. I'm Jay from Australia, and I'll be your host for today's broadcast of Faith and Melody. And so, to get the show started, we encourage everyone to sit back, relax, and let's listen to the first song on today's playlist, which is titled Ilagak Natin.
Ilagak natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Tayo ay maganda na sa dakilang pamana na napakalapit ng tanggapin. Kunting panahon na lamang ang ating titiisin at hihintayin. Itoon ang puso, ang isip at ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating.
Totoong malapit nang tumuhin ng kaligtasan. Kaya pagsanayan natin namumuhay sa kabanalan. Layuan at iwasan natin ang lahat ng uri ng kasalanan. Dapat nating sipilin ang ating mga isipan.
Upang di mahulog sa paggawa ng mali at sa harap ng Diyos ay maging karapat-dapat. Anong sitwasyon ang ating sapitin? Huwag limutin na sa ating Diyos ay magpasalamat.
Mawala ng pag-asa, manalig at tumingin sa langit. Kung magulong man ang mundo, kailangan natin ng saklolo. Sa Ama tayo lumapit.
Ilagak natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Tayo ay maghanda na sa dakilang pamana na napakalapit ng tanggapin. Kunting panahon na lamang ang ating titiisin at hihintayin. Itoon ang puso, ang isip at ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating.
Sa iba't ibang suliranin na nagsisilbing hadlang sa paglalakbay natin. Hindi maiiwasan na talagang haharapin ang buhay na mabigat at mahirap kayahin. Ang mga bagay na akala natin ay pinakamalubhana, nagdulot ng lungkot, pagluha, mga pangihina. Matinding kapighatian at pagkabalisa ay hindi kailanman siyang pinakamalubha. Yan ang sabi ng Ama, bakit tayo matatakot? Kayang-kaya nating lampasan anumang satay umabot. Magpakatatag palagi, tibayan ng loob sa pangako ng Ama. Ang paningin ay ituon, huminto at tumigil muna saglit, lumuhod. Ang mga mata ay ipikit sa Ama ay manalangin siya. Huwag nating tanungin, ilagat natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating.
Ilagak natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Tayo ay maghanda na sa dakilang pamana na napakalapit ng tanggapin. Kunting panahon na lamang ang ating titiisin at hihintayin. Itoon ang puso, ang isip at ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Ilagak natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Tayo ay maghanda na sa dakilang pamana na napakalapit ng tanggapin. Kunting panahon na lamang ang ating titiisin at hihintayin. Itoon ang puso, ang isip at ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Ilagak natin ang ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating. Tayo ay maghanda na sa dakilang pamana na napakalapit ng tanggapin. Kunting panahon na lamang ang ating titiisin at hihintayin. Itoon ang puso, ang isip at ating pag-asa sa biyayang darating.
Hello, hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Jay on INC Radio's Faith and Melody. And if you're watching us live right now, it's currently 12:13 a.m. over in our main studio in the Philippines, and about after 2 a.m. here down under in Australia. So hello, hello to each and every one of you. Hopefully, you've all had a great start to the beginning of your week. And later on our show today, we'll be talking on our topic, which is titled Grace in the Growth. We're talking about embracing grace, building self discipline, and moving forward in faith, even when the road gets bumpy. But before we get into our topic discussion, let's first begin with our kickoff chat.
Kickoff chat.
So for our kickoff chat today, hopefully for those who are tuning in live with us right now, you can join me and you can share because the question that we're asking before we get into our topic discussion, what's a funny mistake that you've made, but you learned something from it? You know, we've all made little mistakes here and there, and some of them can be a bit funny, especially when you look back in hindsight. So what's something, if you want to share with us there in our YouTube live chat, if you're watching us live right now, let us know a funny mistake you've made, but you learned something after you made that mistake. So for example, something for me, let me start off the conversation or this little kickoff chat. One of the things that I've learned is to never heat up a boiled egg in the microwave, because I did that one time when I was a little bit younger and I don't know what it was. It's like a whole boiled egg, no holes, it hasn't been cut or anything. If you put that in the microwave for too long, the thing that I learned is that when you take it out, what I found is like it was vibrating as an egg. And so I took a knife just to cut it. I'm going, why is this egg vibrating? It's boiled. It's like it's cooked. There's no chicken there or anything. So I just tapped it with a little knife and it kind of blew up in my face. So yes, that's one of those funny things that I've learned as a mistake. Don't put a boiled egg, don't reheat it in the microwave. It doesn't turn out really, really well, kind of like what happens there. But for those, our Ohana, our viewers that might be tuning in live with us right now, let us know what funny mistake that you might have made. Let me say hello to a few that said hello to us here on our live chat. We have Louis Lane saying good evening from Paris, France. So good evening. Thank you for tuning in with us there. And also we have Nathaniel Russell saying hello to us, to me in particular. So hello, Nate, to our Nathaniel Russell for tuning in here on INC Radio's Faith and Melody. We're asking for our kickoff chat, a funny mistake that you've made, but you learned something from it. Another one, let me share with you as well, because hopefully you don't make the same mistake. Read the assembly instruction when you're putting together a piece of furniture. My wife, Jem, she purchased a wardrobe, to put our daughter's clothes in and everything. So I decided to assemble it, and I thought, okay, there's not many pieces here. I'm sure I can work it out. And so I did it without really looking at the, where things went, and I just sort of guessed it. So after I put it together, what happened as a mistake, one of the shelves I put in backwards, so it doesn't have that paint coating at the front of it. So it's actually just the raw piece of wood. So you've got like nice, then plain raw wood, and then nice. And the thing is, it's been hammered with nails to the actual back of the wardrobe. So can't really take it out. It was like too much work, and I had to apologize. And it was too much for me to try and take out all the nails, put it just to fix one shelf. So unfortunately, that's one of those things that I made, and I've learned from it to always make sure that I'm double checking, triple checking, reading the user manual. Nathan also says here that he's had an egg sandwich blow up when he bit into it. So was that a whole egg in the sandwich? I mean, I couldn't imagine it blowing up in a sandwich already, but here's an egg sandwich. So you got to be careful. Sometimes things that have steam inside it, they do tend to blow up. That's why one thing I learned is that you should at least cut it to give it some place for the steam to escape. or to actually poke a hole in there. Another thing that I've learned is a mistake. I actually wrote down a couple just to, while I was thinking back on mistakes that I've made in the past. Uh, have you ever made that mistake when you thought that somebody was from far away, they're waving, and you thought that they're waving at you? And they're far enough that you can't really recognize their face, so you don't know who exactly it is, but you think that they're waving at you, but they weren't. But then you wave back at them, and then they walk right past you, giving you a bit of a strange look. Yeah, if that's ever happened to you, let me know. But yeah, just thinking that somebody was waving at you when they really weren't, or even vice versa. When you think it's somebody that you know and you're yelling out, hey, 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 you're calling out their name. And then when you get close to them, it's like, oh, wait, I don't really recognize them. And you pretend, and you probably just walk past and you're pretending that you're still saying hello to someone further away. So that's one of those funny mistakes that I've learned from. Another one, this happened when I was much younger, especially coming from Philippines. When I first went to, well, I don't know what you call it in the States from where you're tuning in from, but when you go to like your primary school, right? When you're like grade, I don't know, one of the early grades, reading, I had to, you know how they get you to read passages from the story or the book that you're reading? I had to read, and it was a war story about war and that sort of thing. And there was a word there. And to me, I was just reading it out as I saw it, which is colonel. So if you don't know, colonel in English is actually supposed to be said, especially in the aspect of, well, actually, I don't know how other way you would say it, but it's apparently pronounced colonel, right? When you're addressing a colonel or somebody in the army or in the, you know, that sort of thing, it's actually pronounced colonel, but it's spelled Colonel. I had no idea about pronunciation of that word in particular, and I said it was colonel. It was colonel. It's pronounced colonel. But yeah, there you go. One of those funny mistakes that I will always remember, and I've learned from it. So it's if you ever see that, especially if you're coming from a non-English speaking country and you see that word, it's pronounced colonel. I don't know where the in there, the R, where is that? But apparently you pronounce it with an R, so a kernel. But yeah, if you ever see the word kernel as in a corn kernel, I think, I don't know, it's just a bit confused. English is confusing sometimes. That's the thing there. And the last one, because I just want to quickly say before I give my last example and we wrap up our little kickoff chat, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to share a couple of things. We've got Christian Ross that's there in our YouTube live chat saying greetings from Fort Worth, District of South Central States. So thank you so much for tuning in there as well. And we have another one, actually is a good one, from Pinky Mactal. The word, okay, this is how I say this word, croissant. Funny mistake that happens to me, wrong pronounced. So like there's apparently, I think it was Louis that was there from France. I don't know the correct enunciation of the word, but croissant, I don't know how you would say that, but croissant, I guess that's one way that if you don't know how that word is normally pronounced, maybe you might have said croissant, right? But there are definitely some words that's used from different languages in the English sentences and languages, and you just don't know how to pronounce it. So that's another good one there. But yes, there you go. And just want to quickly say as well, hello to Mario Oka, that's saying good midnight there in the Philippines, because it is just after midnight in the Philippines right now, saying enjoy watching here on Faith and Melody. Greetings from the locale of Brixtonville, District of Caloocan North. But there you go. Thank you so much for everyone for joining me in this beginning segment, our kickoff chat, before we get into our topic discussion. That's been our kickoff chat for today. We can get our bumper out to our Kuyas there in the studios. Okay, maybe we won't get the bumper out, right? But thank you to everyone for participating and saying your greetings. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching us right now, drop your message there in our live chat. We'll give you a shout out in a little bit during our discussion in this little part of our broadcast for today. And if you do have any song requests, I can see that there is actually a song request here by our Nathaniel Russell saying song request will be ours. So we'll ask our brothers there in the main studio. We have our Kuya Nico and our Kuya Irene that's helping us out. So I'll leave it up to them to get that song lined up for you a little bit later on our show. But with that, I just wanted to, again, invite everyone to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to 2 songs that's been laid out on our playlist. The next 2 songs that we are listening to is Purified Like Gold, and the second song is titled Think. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be proceeding to our topic discussion after this musical break. Kuya Tex, take it away.
Purified like gold through the fire, trials will come to make us stronger.
First Peter chapter 1 verses 6 and 7. We have to be purified like gold to go to heaven. So rejoice and be glad when we face these tests. Our main requirement to receive that glorious rest. Picture the scene, April 12, 1963. News breaks out, the leader of the INC is dead. With persecution and or can we want a peace? While they disrespecting our leader, speaking ill of him, they said upon the death of the Sugo, the church will fall. But the claims are wrong, we still talk through it all. Like the potter and his clay which he will mold. Our faith justified to be purified like gold.
Threaten our faith, but we won't be swayed. Trying to make us study false religions, we won't turn away. Enforce your own beliefs in our schools, no matter the religion. Danger in the youth's faith in our public school system. Why we gonna study false doctrines when we found the truth, though tested and tried? We will rise, we cannot lose. They tried the Quinco bill. We showed our unity, we united with our leaders in this opportunity to fight for the doctrines that we truly believe in. Our unity and faith in God all the more increasing. Never letting go of our faith, we will hold on. Through fire and floods will pass, purified like gold. Face, says Apostle Peter. That's what the brethren did from Hacienda Luisita. Persecuted and hated in the place they called their home. Shops closed in their face, nothing they could call their own. Mobbed and mistreated, they told they were inferior. Couldn't even ride the Jews to go to another area. Through all the tests and persecutions, they were brave. Tabaria Maligaya settled in a new place, singing Ako'y INC hanggang kamatayan. Through the test they endured with everything they got. Stories of faith that will continue to be told. How God tested the faith but was purified like gold.
Struggling to pay for bills, struggling to provide my meals. Hardship is what I feel, poverty strikes my family. Even in a country that is filled with opportunity, I'm still pained and strained by the pressures of poverty. And what's worse, this country doesn't have the true church. I feel like a lost sheep with no shepherd. I can't serve my God in a distant land. Can worship God as words I search. I'm yearning to be learning every teaching and every word by ministers, sent by the administrator of the church. In the place where my faith is strengthened by every verse. I pray my Lord God will make me brave and bold to pass these tests and be purified like gold.
Did you ever think about where you're headed? What direction you're taking? What's missing? If you think you're fine where you are now, really, it's not that simple. Did you ever think about this?
Think about life. Are you living it right? Is your precious time being wasted? Think about love. Do you really know what it is? Or are you already complacent? Think about your faith. Are you in the true church? Are you sure you'll be saved on Judgment Day? Think about hope. Do you have it in you? Or has it completely faded? It was prophesied that the true church of Christ would be saved when Lord Jesus arrives. Take the path of life, be in the true church of Christ, you receive eternal life. You gotta think, yeah. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Think about the end. Are you truly prepared? Will you leave your past ways and make changes? Think about forever. Will you want being called to serve God and to be in the fold? We have to think of these things, never set them aside, 'cause time is moving fast. We have to focus on minds, the last day is at hand. It will end in the blink of an eye. You gotta think, yeah, yeah. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Yeah. There's so many things, but that's a chance we shouldn't take. You gotta think, yeah. Na 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 na. You gotta na 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 na. Na 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 na. You gotta na 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 na. Na 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 na. You gotta think.
Enter the Church of Christ to really know the truth. You gotta think of these things. Will you join us towards salvation?
Welcome back, everyone, to Faith and Melody. Before we proceed with our topic discussion, we've actually got Nathan's song requests loaded up. Right, Kuya Nico, Kuya Irene? So if we can get our Heartbeats bumper, there's a Heartbeats song request. And for anyone that's tuned in right now, if you do have any INC or Iglesia Ni Cristo original music that you want us to play to get you through whatever you're doing right now, maybe to, while you're commuting, getting ready for bed, having lunch, whatever it might be, let us know. We'll get our Kuya Nico or Kuya Irene, our brothers there in the main studio, to work on those and get that lined up. But this song has been requested by Nathaniel Russell, which is titled Will Be Ours. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back after we listen to this.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
to put hope in a grace that will be slowly forward times. Slowly the faith will keep us safe. Slowly forward until the end. We need to put hope in a grace that will be. With God's love, we will continue. No matter what we may go through.
We will march forward and be strong. With God, we will never be wrong. Don't be afraid to journey in this world, to face all tribulations that will come.
As God's station in these last days, look forward to God's grace. To follow to grace every day. Our Lord will guide us all the way. So forward and don't look back. Strong in our faith, He'll keep us safe. So look forward and don't look back. We need to put hope in a grace that will be. So look forward and don't look back. Strong in our faith, He'll keep us safe. So look forward and don't look back. We need to put hope in a grace.
Even though life gets harder every day, we promise our Lord God will never go astray. When problems are pouring, we won't forget to pray. We need to put hope in the grace that will be
Your requested song. Our favorites. Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
Thing that you've improved recently, even just a little? I'm sure we are actually, I just realized we are towards the end of the month of April. 4 months through in the in the year of 2025, right? And I'm sure we had goals that we were working on from last year. We had goals that we had set for this year. So we've all been working on something in our personal life, relationships, our work, new skills, whatever it might be. Share with us something that you've improved recently, even if it's just a little improvement, even just a little thing, right? Because growth is a journey, right? You don't just go from 0 to 100 straight away. It's a journey. You work towards whatever new improvement or skills development, things that you want to achieve in life or in your relationships, you work on it. So what's something that you have shared or what you can share with us that you've grown throughout this year? And before I share my one, just want to quickly say hello to a few greetings there in our live chat. Our Ohana, which is what we call our family that tunes in with us here on Faith and Melody in our YouTube live chat. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. We've got a few song requests that's in there from Ka Jose Lajada Jr. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. But yes, thank you so much. Let us know your song requests and we'll get that played. Christian Ross is there as well. We've also got our our brother all the way from Northeast California and Livermore. Our Rod Kahayag is saying hello to everyone. And of course, Lani is there as well. Happy Monday, Faith and Melody Ohana. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're asking the question, share with us something that you've improved on recently, even if it's just a little bit, right? We've all worked on something. Maybe it's like a health goal, trying to become healthier, maybe more stronger, more fitter. We're trying to build our relationships. For me, one of the things that I've been trying to work on recently that I've improved on even less, just a little bit, is slowing down. I feel like I'm talking too fast. So let me let me slow down a little bit. So because that's one of those things that I have been trying to work on is to slow down more, not just in communication, but in life in general. I've been in the past when I was much younger, everything's always like go, go, go. You've always got things going on, things that you're working towards. And it takes up all your time that you don't have time to take a break, to rest, to re-energize your battery, right? And I've learned over the years that I am more of a introvert person, which means that I require more time to myself to re-energize, right? I do have, that doesn't mean that I don't socialize, right? Because we do socialize with the people that we are comfortable with. So one of the things that I've learned, I've been working on is slowing down more in life, right? Not having to do everything all at once, because that leads to multitasking, I've found. And for me, when I multitask, not much things get done, right? Because it's very difficult for people to work on two, three, four different things all at once. All at once, what multitasking is, right? You need to really focus on one thing at a time. It's very difficult for you to give 100% of your attention and focus to 10 different things all at once. That's why time management is important. Another thing that I've been working on to improve my physical health. I'm proud to say, physical health, just healthier eating. Not saying healthy eating completely, but just healthier food choices and doing more physical activity. That's very important, especially for us. We know that we use our strength, we use our body in the performances of our duties, in worshiping our Almighty God, and also in looking after our family and our loved ones. We need to be at our peak condition. We need to be healthy. We need to be strong. It's one of those things that's within your control in a way, that you can choose to do work that looks after your health, mental health, physical health. You can choose the food that you feed yourself, right? Like I said, healthier eating, because it's okay to eat, those like a piece of chocolate here and there and whatnot, but you have to make good choices to feed your body the right things, because you get the energy, you get the good health, all of those stuff falls into making good choices. So for me, physical health, definitely one of those little things that I've improved recently, even a little bit. I wasn't expecting to lose weight. It wasn't really one of my goals, but I have. I've shared before that I've been so bad at tracking my health progress that really the best thing to do is not just weigh yourself, but also measure, right? You should measure yourself if you're trying to become more fitter, more healthier, measure your arm, measure your waist, measure, that sort of thing. I haven't been doing that. I've been pretty bad at that actually. But one thing that I do use kind of like as a measuring stick is my belt. You wear belts, right? So you generally have notches on the belt where the belt buckle goes through. And I have gone down, I want to say 3 I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but I've gone down like I think two, maybe two. Okay, let's just to be on the safe side, definitely two holes on my belt button, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy. I didn't expect it. I didn't really want that. It was really more of like a strength, health, more endurance, more yeah, more energy, especially having a 7-year-old that runs around a lot. It's very energetic, our daughter. So she's 7 and she is very energetic, always runs, always climbing. She is always climbing everything around the house, even things that she shouldn't be climbing, like the windowsill and things like that. She will find a way to get up there and climb it. So she, especially when we take her out to the park, she is always running around, climbing the playground and everything else. So you got to keep up with them, and that comes through with you looking after yourself, physical health, and that sort of thing. I can see already a couple of in our live chat. I think a lot of the comments in our live chat right now is a lot of hello, hello, back and forth. So it's great that everyone is saying hello to each other. That's there right now. I think from the looks of it, something about Hawaii. I'm just going through the live chat just to see if there is anything there. But hello to everyone that's tuned in, and also I guess catching up with each other, right? Catching up to everyone there. Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. I think this one here is okay. Let me pose this one. We've got our executive producer there, Des Senas, is also saying or sharing with us, I am training not to react or be bothered by some things or people. Right? That's a good thing to work on as well. So hopefully, we all improve a little bit on that. That is nice to be able to do that because patience is a virtue, they say, right? So it's something that we also do have to work on. And I get that. I understand it. I can relate. I can relate with that. Christian Ross also shares here that he agrees with I'm saying. My belt is my weight tracker also, right? Because it makes sense. You lose the weight, you lose the inflammation, you lose whatever it is, right? Generally, it shows up in the clothes that you wear and in the belt that you use. It's usually less. And Rod, I just read this message. My belt is broken. My belt is broken. So I guess that's another way to see whether you're working towards something and if it's working or not. But if your belt is broken, I guess it's very hard to measure anything. But there you go. Let's move on. Okay. So with that, we're all working on towards something. There's always a little bit of growth to see there. But let me continue this conversation by asking, because we don't always see, and just kind of like some of the examples that might have been shared, we don't always see the progress. And sometimes the progress may not be fast enough for us to see any noticeable difference, whether it's in your patience, right? How do you even measure patience? Like how much you progress in your patience? How do you even measure certain things that you're working towards? So what helps you stay grounded when you feel like you're not progressing fast enough? Sometimes you want to be even more fit. You want to be able to bench press a certain amount, right? You want to be able to run a certain distance at a certain time. You want to be able to complete something in a faster amount of time that's more efficient, right? Usually. So when you're not seeing the progress fast enough, it usually affects many people and it discourages them when they are not seeing the progress. So, what helps you to stay grounded when you are not seeing the progress quickly? For me, a few things is just remembering, taking a time to step away, to take a break, to look back and reflect on how far you've come, right? Kind of like if your goal is weight loss, and mine wasn't, but let's say your goal is weight loss, and you decide for a week to eat only healthy things like you're staying away from cake, you're staying away from ice cream, you're only eating salads, you're going to eat more salad and that sort of thing, and you only see that at the end of the week you've only lost like half a kilo, but you're expecting to lose 5, right, or something like that. So what happens? How do you stay grounded with that? For me, look back and say, hey, I've lost half a kilo. Realize that that is an accomplishment. One thing to remember is that slow progress, that's still progress. even though the progress might not be to the certain amount or extent that you were looking for, if you have progressed even a little bit, you have progressed, right? You have improved. It's like going back to the simple things, since I've been doing it a lot, of exercising and being able to lift heavier or to be able to do more repetitions. Let's say for push-ups, for example, if at the beginning when you first started, you could barely do one push-up, right? And at the end of the week, you can kind of do one push-up. And you're like, I'm not seeing the progress fast enough. My muscles are sore. I don't think that this is, I don't think I'm going to continue this. Don't do that. Just remember that if you keep on going at it and you look back after 2 weeks, after a month, and you go, hey, now I can do two push-ups. I can do three, right? You've improved a little bit, and you realize that that progress, even though it's slow, even though it's small, even though it might be something simple, it's still progress. It's still a step in the right direction. Having the right support system also helps. For me, that's my wife, right? For each one of us out there that might be listening, I'm sure that there's somebody that kind of supports you, that cheers you on. Your number one cheerleader, right? Having the right support system plays a huge role in encouragement and continually being inspired to keep on working towards your goal. And with that, the last thing that I want to also say is give yourself words of affirmation, right? How do you talk to yourself when you're going through things? Your friends, obviously, the people that your support system can give you those encouraging words. It's like, you're doing great, you're doing well, keep it up. That's those sort of things. But it's important to also say it to yourself. Your internal dialogue plays a big role on how you perceive things, right? So if you're telling yourself that you're great, that you keep on working, that you've grown, that you've improved a little bit, it's the step in the right direction. That will give you that motivation to see that there's progress happening. Things are happening, right? They don't build an airport overnight, right? It takes years of planning and years of work to build an airport. You don't put a car together overnight, right? Things take time. Good things take time. That's something for us to take away, right? And another one that I just wanted to read, we've got a couple more comments here on our live chat. Ohana, Rod shares with us that he has improved on cleaning the house. There you go, right? Improved in cleaning the house. I love vacuuming, and I always try to make it into a bit of a game and see how quickly or how much more faster I can be in vacuuming the area of the house. So I guess you can make it something fun like that as well. We've got Jordan Agustin that's here saying good morning to everyone as well. And another one from Rod that he shared with us. I have improved on sharing my faith, inviting and sending more frequently. Definitely a great goal, a great improvement for everyone. Improving in being able to share our faith with our friends, with our people, and even inviting them. We've got so many activities and events that we can invite them to. I don't know about you, but here in the district, here in Australia, District of Victoria, Australia, we have our Unity Games coming up, and that's a great opportunity, right? If you've got that happening in your local district, perhaps your wherever in what part of the world that you're at, inviting them to those things can really be a way to share our faith. Rod also shared, I've improved on doing different workouts to target different muscles, right? There's always a way for us to grow in whatever goals that we have there. And this last one, before I continue on with our discussion, there are so many versions of me that I talk to all the time. They can get chatty, but no nonsense. So I get plenty of good ideas. Sometimes that's true, right? When you should be able to spend time alone and be able to talk to yourself and to be able to, yeah, kind of like throw ideas to yourself. That's kind of, I do that too, I think, right? Like you're talking internally, you're not really talking out loud, because if you're talking to yourself out loud and somebody overhears you and realize that there's nobody else in the room, they might think that, okay, what's going on there? But maybe it's just an internal dialogue that you're having, and it's nice, right? We all have different personas at times, right? We have the more strict, more disciplined persona. We have the more relaxed one. We have the creative persona who wants to try explore new ideas and all those sort of things. So I kind of get what this is saying there in terms of talking to yourself internally, especially the different versions, the different personas that we have, right? So with that, we've all grown in some way. We've all, hopefully, you. Another one here. Rod says that he likes the pop-up screen that we're showing. This is growth in a way. This is something that I've tried to improve. Is being able to shout out to Nathan, Nathaniel Russell. I'm not sure if he's still listening, but this is something that I saw them doing over in South Central States Satellite Studio. That sounds like a tongue twister. But yeah, shout out to them. They were doing something like this, and I was like, whoa, that is very cool, right? To be able to show people's comments there on the screen. And with that, just before we wrap up this discussion, how do you remind yourself that progress is still worth celebrating, even if it's small, even if it's a small or a simple progress or growth that you have accomplished? How do you remind yourself that that thing, even though how as small as it is, you should still celebrate that? Right? What comes through your mind? How do you remind yourself? One thing that my wife mentioned to me when we were talking about this, she says here, I know that celebrating little wins all too well with raising a child on the autism spectrum. And one of my life's mottos for us and as her parents is forward is still forward, no matter how small the step. Usually the best feeling is when these wins are unexpected and take you by surprise. It's a little bit late in the morning for me, so hopefully I'm not being able to speak properly. But hopefully you got that right. Forward is still forward, no matter how small the step. Like she mentioned there, our daughter is on the autism spectrum and presents with many challenges. One of them is communication. So let me just share this really quickly, since she shared it here. Uh, she's not able to communicate freely what she wants, what she feels, right? How she is feeling at an environment, or if she is needing something from us, or if she's feeling distress. She doesn't communicate it in a normal way. She's not able to use her words. It's a challenge for her to be able to speak in sentences. So we're working on that, with our therapist and with us at home. Many times we're trying to encourage her to use her words. We're trying to encourage her to mean what she's looking for, because many times she uses nursery rhyme songs. So for you out there, if you remember any nursery rhymes, or if you've heard any nursery rhymes that the kids are playing nowadays, she uses those songs or even the lyrics on those songs in place of what she is actually trying to say. And it's a whole game of trying to be a detective, figuring out what she wants based on what she is saying. So it's very difficult. And many times we also, of course, try to get her to say the correct words, what she means, like if she wants water, if she wants this. And something that I've shared before is even when it comes to prayer, right? It was one of those challenges, but we want her to be able to at least be able to do a simple prayer. And guess what? Right? Even though it's the same prayer, she is able to pray at the right time when we put food in front of her. And she knows how to pray for the food. And we also have a prayer before we leave the house, right? And we get her to recite her prayer, to lead the prayer before we leave the house to go somewhere, or even before we go to sleep. So she knows those three prayers right now, which is for us as parents of someone who we were told at the very beginning of her diagnosis that she may not be able to speak or have a communication or a discussion with mom and dad in the same way that we would expect other children. It was like definitely we saw the progress bit by bit, and just having that is definitely a big win. And we know that it's not all of a sudden she went from not speaking to being able to do a prayer. It was a lot of work in between. It was a lot of little amends here and there when we would lead the prayer. It was simplifying things so that she would be able to do her own prayer, right? It was a lot of little work here and there, little progress. And those things are little things that we definitely celebrated, right? Whenever she would accomplish those little goals, those little milestones along that little journey of communication. Now we have a list. I'm not sure where it is actually. It's in one of my chats somewhere. We've been writing down a list for her speech therapist, speech pathologist. I'm not sure what the correct term is. Of all the words that she's been requesting. She's been saying certain words here and there with the correct context, with the correct meaning, asking for, certain foods. There's a particular food that she always asks, and she has been saying it now whenever she wants it. You probably all know this particular fast food chain. But yes, definitely one of those, and a few other words. I can't find it right now, but those little wins are definitely worth celebrating because they're the step in the right direction. Don't forget that. Those small milestones makes up the large goal that you're working towards, right? The large goal up here, like whatever your goal is in life, in business, in work, relationships, whatever that big goal is, once you get there and you look back, you'll notice that it is supported by the little milestones that builds up that big goal. So celebrate the small things, celebrate the little wins. Those simple wins make up the big goal at the end of the day. Let me go ahead and read a few of these insights that our Ohana have been sharing here right now. We've also got here Jonah Grace Lopez, one of our Ohana hosts here on Faith and Melody, saying greetings from Edmonton. Rod also says, sometimes I forget to do the little celebrations. And we all do sometimes. Sometimes we see it as not that big of a deal. So remember, those little celebrations, they can, we should celebrate them. We should remember, we should be grateful for those small celebrations. And really, one of those celebrations can be a small prayer just to give thanks to our Almighty God. Des also shares here, celebrating little wins is part of the process for me. Sometimes it's knowing that I get to celebrate when done that motivates me to work harder and faster. So those little goals, those little accomplishments, that's why it's nice to have supportive people, supportive friends that recognizes the effort that you're putting in, even if it's your own goal, but they realize that, hey, I can see that, this is different about you, you've grown better at this, and you get those little praises here and there. It really helps you to keep on going. Kyle Jose shares here, I remind myself that small progress is still worth celebrating by recognizing that every big achievement, oh, there you go, exactly what we were just saying. Recognize that every big achievement is made up of many small steps, right? That's so true. Like the big end goal, you don't get there. Like if you run a marathon, which is a really big goal for anyone to try and do, it's a lot of small steps along the way. And I know many people that do run marathons, all they're thinking about, right? It's a long distance to run that far. They're thinking, I just got to make it for the next 100 meters. I just got to make the next 50 meters. And that's my next goal. Okay, I've reached 50 meters. I'll make the next 50 meters. And I'll make the next 50 meters. And then by the end of it, you realize, oh, I've made 1,000 meters already. I'm not sure what that is in miles or what the US counterpart is, but there you go. We've got a lot of things awesome and for what I shared earlier, but definitely what Rod shares here, grace in growth is God's blessing, is God blessing us. So true, right? All the growth, all the little things, all the big things, anything in growth, that's God's blessing towards us. And I love this acronym from our very own Rod saying growth equals God rewarding our work truly happens. And he also has one for grace, which is God rewards all Christians eventually, right? Patience, and God's reward is always there. You just you have to wait for it, and eventually you'll receive that promised reward. And there you go. We've got those from our Ohana that's been sharing their thoughts, their insights. Hopefully, you've all enjoyed this first part. Just remember that when working towards something, it doesn't need to be perfect to be counted as progress, right? And don't forget, failure or not succeeding in a certain step, it's part of the journey towards growth, towards progress, right? The small steps, they matter more than we think, right? Remember that. And remember that pressure to perform can be eased when we stay grounded in truth and in grace. Okay, I'm going to need to take a quick break. So we're going to ask our Kuya Nico and our Kuya Irene to line up the next two songs that we'll be playing. I think we've got a song request ready, which is Hold On. So we'll get that song request by Christian played, which is a heartbeat song request, which is titled Hold On. And the second song that we'll be listening to is Braver, the US version. So Kuya Nika, Kuya Irene, when you're ready, let's listen to Hold On and Braver, US version. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Maybe I have to give a little bit more time for Kuya Nico and Kuya Irene just to get those song lined up. But yes, if you do have any other song requests, I see Carolyn Shank that's over there in our live chat also has another song request. Let us know. We're going to ask our Kuya Nico and Kuya Irene over in our main studio to get that found and lined up for our show today. But while they're lining up the song Hold On and Braver US version, again, thank you to everyone that's been sharing their thoughts, their insights, their point of view on this discussion. When we come back, we're going to be talking about building better habits with grace, right? Like something that you've worked on and how it was worth it for you, that sort of thing. So, have more in our discussion. But before that, let's see if our Kuya Techs are ready with our song request, which is Hold On, and the next song, Braver US version. So, Kuya Nico, Kuya Irene, when you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Your requested song. Our favorites. Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
It seems like yesterday when we became part of a promise. Although we struggle living day by day, with God's help we made it this far. Look around, the world isn't getting better. Every day, everywhere there are signs. Soon the day we're waiting for will soon arrive, and on that day we'll receive eternal life. We said we're not gonna make it, but we wouldn't believe it. All the signs are out there, people still asking where. We held to the truth, we're stronger now. Hold on, God will be right by you. Hang on, patience is a virtue. Be strong, our Lord God will save you. Stand strong, for He will protect you. Here we are, we're not just done, no we are not. You see, the finish line is just right there. Keep running, don't give up now, no way. We are just a step away. Get up, we're here to celebrate God's love for us through all these years. So here we will remain no matter what this life may bring. And at the very end, we will be taken to the promised land, where we will be. Hold on, God will be right by you. Hang on, patience is a virtue. Be strong, our Lord God will save you. Stand strong, for He will protect you. Hold on, God will be right by you. Hang on, patience is a virtue. Be strong, our Lord God will save you. Stand strong, for He will protect you. They said we're not gonna make it, but we wouldn't believe it. All the signs are out there, people still asking where. We held to the truth, we're stronger now. God will be right by
your requested song. Our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
It's only round one, trying to catch my breath. Hits from everywhere, I'm covering my head. Been here before, so what's to fear? I knew this fight would come, I've trained all these years. So when it goes down, I'm ready for the big fight. Facing my opponent in this ring that they call life. There's a new normal of abnormalities. Ready for the times that we face up uncertainties. Facing all trouble, sickness, calamity, searching for a cure, trying to end the tragedies. People talking nonsense, stating what they can, turning all their lives to alternative facts. Even when I'm scared, I can't let go. Surrender to him, it's out of our control. So if I get knocked down, get back up, stand straight, look up to him, cause he made me brave. Dodging bullets, miracles in modern times. Strong winds, dark clouds, covering the air. In the blink of an eye, he can make them disappear. Even when pushed in a war zone, unprepared, never be left to despair. I'm brave now, I'm not afraid. I'm living, I'm brave now. I'm brave now, I'm standing straight. I can love till I'm free.
This is Jay here on Faith and Melody, and our topic we've been talking about is grace in the growth. And before that, I just want to quickly shout out everyone that's been enjoying the songs that we've been playing, especially that song request there. We have Joy and Ross that's there in our live chat, and I'm not sure if she one of the singers that's there because I know I saw the name Ross came up um, in the song of Hold On, right? So thank you anyway for tuning in. We've got a couple of other song requests which we'll play in a little bit. But as we continue on with this next part of our discussion, we want to quickly ask everyone what's one habit that you've worked on that took time but it was worth it, right? And some habits are a little bit quicker, or some things that we work on are a little bit shorter time frames than others. But what's something that you've worked on that took a long time, but it was worth it in the end? And one for me that I shared earlier was about exercising, right? Healthier eating, as I mentioned there, like just making healthier choices. Doesn't mean I'm cutting out everything. I still eat rice, but just healthier portions, healthier eating a little bit more salads and vegetables and more protein and things like that. But yes, thank you for everyone that's been sharing their insights there. Hello to Priscilla Batan that's also that's tuned in with us. That's there in our live chat. But yeah, what's something that you've worked on that took time but it was worth it? Another one that I wanted to share here, and this is something that one of my co-hosts here on Faith and Melody actually mentioned when we were preparing for this topic. Not reacting immediately, right? Not reacting immediately, because there's always that initial reaction when we are talking with someone, or when something is it hits us the wrong way, right? Or doesn't go according to plan. There's always that initial reaction, and having the time and the patience to think about it for a little bit and respond in a different way. So that's one of those things as well that I do agree with, that I've also worked on, is trying to avoid not react trying to avoid reacting immediately. Taking the time first to process and make sure that I understood what the other person might have said, or what things might have happened. Like, take time to process it first before you have that initial reaction, and not jumping to conclusions. I don't know if you've ever had that um, habit in the past, right? Where you jump to conclusions, and usually the conclusions that you jump to aren't the greatest. So, really being able to take the time to understand the situation, understand the other side. I think the correct word here is to be empathetic. Is that the right word? To empathize, right? To empathize with the other person, and just to see where they're coming from, and to understand, what they're saying, what they're feeling, to understand their point of view. Because many times when you're trying to communicate with someone, uh, it's a lot of emotions first, right? And it also doesn't work out well if those emotions are unproductive and negative, because negative emotions in particular are easily transferred to other people, right? So one person starts shouting, the other person starts shouting, right? One person gets angry, so you got to be careful with that. So taking the time is definitely, being more patient, taking the time to understand. I like what Rod shared here. Listen first. True, true, very true, that we should listen first, right? Listen and understand, right? Not listen just so that you can react straight away, or that you can respond straight away. It really takes a certain amount of time for you to understand what the other person is truly saying, because many times that a lot of the reason, or a lot of the actual things come from non-verbal communication, not the things that they say, but it might be the things that they don't say, the way that they act, the way that they speak, the way that their tone is, right? You can say certain words differently, and it can come across, right, in a different way, in a different manner. So you got to also make sure that you take the time to wait and to process that. That's one of those things that I've been working on. There's something that you're working on, let us know here, that Rod has shared is I think it's exercising for me. It's definitely worth it in the long run. Try to stay healthy and strong for our family and our duties. I completely agree with that. I don't know if it's just because, as you get through the years, right, you find out more and more, especially when at the people that you were looking up to when you were younger, right? They're older now, right? And sometimes they're not at the same condition physically that they once were when you were younger, when you knew them. And even for us, right, as we get older, as for me, like for example, you wake up and you're a bit more sore than usual. Uh, your body creaks and cracks a lot more, right? You go down to pick up something and your knees are always cracking. At least mine does. I know that's not a good sign, right? So you really gotta look after your health. You gotta stay healthy in some way. You gotta keep on moving, right? Don't stop moving. Always find some way to exercise and do some movement, and then also stay strong, right? They always say that muscle loss is one of the biggest culprits as you get older, of all the degenerative diseases that a lot of older people experience in later parts of their life. So building strong muscles and continuing to build that, especially as you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s, so forth, right? Doing those sort of things is actually good for your health, right? Actually helps. Of course, careful what you eat and all those things that we promote, because don't forget that our health, our strength, our mental well-being, and everything else, our energy, we use that to look after the people that we love. We use that to look after our families, especially even our duties, right? The duties that we hold as members of the Church of Christ when we are worshiping our Almighty God. There's always those things that we can continually work on. With that, the next thing that I wanted to also ask, and actually, Rod has shared another one here. I like this one. Is I think also for me, making a habit to watch and listen to Faith and Melody every day is most definitely worth it. Thank you, Kuya Rod. Thank you for sharing that. Right. I do agree with that as well, because I started off with Faith and Melody just like here on live chat. I wasn't even part of the show. I tuned in. It was one of those times when during the whole lockdown that happened a couple of years ago. I think you all might have remembered the lockdown that we went through, and everyone couldn't leave their house and all of these things because of a certain disease that was everywhere. I tuned into Faith and Melody. I started off in the live chat, and just being able to tune in and listen to the conversations. Started off just listening, wasn't even participating, wasn't even sharing anything. And I can see that there's a few silent listeners right now as well. But it was from the conversations that we have here on INC Radio, that we have here on Faith and Melody, that has helped me in particular to be more open to like how I understand myself better, open to more perspectives, right? And new insights to things. I love how our live chat, our Ohana, are always sharing their own experiences that they've gone through in life with the different topics that we have here, right? And so we do encourage you that if you are not able to tune in live, we've got a few names that we have seen today that's been tuning in with us. If you're not able to tune in live on Faith and Melody, you can always watch the replay, right? You can hop over to our YouTube channel of INC Radio, DZEM 954. So perhaps those who might be listening on the radio, on the replay sessions that we have, jump over to the YouTube channel, sign up, make sure that you subscribe, and then you can also search there, Faith and Melody, and you can see all the episodes. Actually, it's in a playlist, right? So there is a section that says playlist on our YouTube channel, and you can see all the different programs. You can click on Faith and Melody, you can see all the episodes of Faith and Melody there, and join us in the discussion as well. Here's another one. So we were asking, how do you reset when you fall off track with your goals, right? Because it does happen. And like we said, it's not really failure, but you didn't quite achieve what you were trying to do. Or you fall off track, right? You may have like missed a day from your workout, or you might have not hit a goal at the right time that you wanted. How do you reset from that? Because we don't want people to be discouraged when they fall off track with the goals that they've had. So for me, one of the things is remember to take a break and start fresh the next day, if that's what you need. Sometimes a lot of the things, the demands that we have in life, in our relationships, in so many things, takes a toll on us. There's a certain level of mental exhaustion that we can experience at different points in our life, right? So it's okay to remember to take a break, right? Whether that's a mental break, a physical break, step away, right? Get out of the environment, go out and get some fresh air, exercise. Maybe it's a day that you need to take some time for yourself to rest, to recuperate, to re energize, and do something that makes you re energetic. Usually, food, right? Food always comes up on the show as one of those things. When you fall off track, to reset, go to your comfort food, right? Take a break and remember you can always start fresh the next day. There's always a way to, when you take a step back, you can try and see, take some time to yourself to sort of analyze. I love analyzing like the situation that I'm in or whatever problem that I might be going through. See if there's a new approach or a new angle that you can take. And one of the strongest things that I've gone through many times is revisit your why. on why you were working towards that goal in particular, why you might have fallen off track, and the why of why you started it. Is that still something that is aligning with the values of who you are and who you want to be as a person, the growth that you want to see in yourself, in your relationships, in your duties, in your connection, right? All of those stuff. Like, take a moment to see if your actions, your goals that you're working towards, does it still fit your why on who you want to be, or the goal, or the person that you want to be at the end of the day? Might be a skill, might be improvement in your work, it might be just trying to be healthier, right? Trying to make sure that you don't get sick as much. Whatever it is, revisit your why, see if there's a new approach that you can take. And most importantly, if you need to, it's okay to take a break, right? That's part of the process as well. Taking a break, taking some time to rest. Your smartphones need time to rest as well. Don't forget that. Like, it needs time to recharge. You can't have it running all day because it'll just run out of battery. Just like us, we need time to rest, to recharge, to recuperate. So just remember that. Let me just read a couple of these some of these insights from our Ohana before we take another quick break and wrap up with the final part of our discussion. We've got one here. So Des shares with us, not sure if it's a habit, but I learned to work quietly without fanfare and surprise everyone with the result, right? I like that because that's something that I don't know if it's a habit as well, but I've learned the same way in terms of just working quietly. They always say it's the quiet ones you have to watch out for, right? Because they're usually the ones that's very attentive and they're working on something. So not being show offy, not trying to hey, I did this or whatever else. I used to be like that, like especially when I had social media. That's like when you're working towards something, you're constantly posting photos of like, hey, this is what I did today, or this is what I accomplished today. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm just saying it's nice to be able to work on your goals quietly, and then at the end of the month, the week, the after 3 months, people just see the results, and then they're surprised already what you were able to achieve. Right? There's something nice about something like that. Rod shares with us here in terms of how do you reset when you fall off track. Prayer always gets us back on track, right? So that's something that we can all definitely relate to, being able to communicate our frustrations, our goals, the things that we want in life, to be able to communicate that to our Almighty God. That's definitely something that we all do as Christians, as members of the Church of Christ. And just another one here, keep calm and pray on, right? That's a great reminder. Des also shares with us, I talk to myself, do an accounting of things I did and did not. Even compute expenses, then remind myself why I am doing it and how this affects the people around me. Another great perspective for us to remember. It's like, how is it affecting the people around us, right? The people that we care about. Usually the things that we do or don't do can have an impact on the people around us, your family, your children, your spouse, your friends, right? Whether you do it or whether you don't do it, there's an impact there. So revisiting that, taking a step back is always great to be a reminder for each one of us. And another one that does says is especially those who were with me every step of the way, right? So that's another thing. Having a great support system, those people will know the effort that was put into place there. And just this last one from Rod saying, taking a break and resetting is like ube, which is equals to uplift beginnings enthusiastically. So there you go. Part of our Ube family. We know we all love Ube, right? So taking a break and resetting, it's very, very important for each one of us. So hopefully you all took something away from that little quick discussion. Habits, it takes time to build and it takes time to also rebuild it. So we should all do that. Grace means that we don't have to get it right every time, right? Sometimes it takes time for us to work towards our goal, and failure or falling off track or not reading the small goals, it's part of the process towards growth, towards success, it's part of it, right? It's not a hindrance, it's a part of the process. It teaches you something about yourself. It teaches you to grow, it teaches you areas where you might need to improve more on or to focus more on. I know for me, when I was working, started this whole exercise thing, I realized my weak point that I need to focus more on was my shoulders, right? I was trying to do all this push-ups and lifts and everything else, but then I'm going, why am I not able to do it? I realized eventually it was my shoulders that was my weak point, right? So I started working on that. So it's important that you take time to analyze what's happening. And resetting, taking time to refresh yourself to reset, it's a part of the process. It's not the end of it. Quick shout out as well. We've got Vicky Dumopoy there. Hello po. Good afternoon from London, District of Britain South. Happy watching Faith and Melody. And she's saying hello to everyone there, everyone in Akuya text as well, and to our live chat. So good afternoon, I believe, or is it early evening over there in London? And with that, before we move on to the last part of our discussion, which is talking about how we keep the faith through the setbacks that we experience, we're going to listen to the next two songs. This one is actually a song request from Jose Lajada Jr., which is Let Our Family Praise Our God. And the second song that we'll be listening to is titled Eternally. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
If we bring others closer to our God, why don't we start with the loved ones? Hold their hands as we walk in the light. Let our family sing praise to the Lord our God. May He see us united in our faith. Let our prayers of thanksgiving for His blessings reach the heavens up above. Let our family sing praise to the Lord our God. Let us be united in our faith. Let us offer prayers of thanksgiving. Let our family sing praise to our God. Happiness will be ours, wait and see. We will triumph over troubles in this world. Share His words with all those you see. Let them join us in praising our God. Why don't we start with the loved ones? Hold their hands as we walk in the light. Let our family sing praise to the Lord our God. May He see us united in our faith. Let our prayers of thanksgiving for His blessings heavens up above. Let our family sing praise to the Lord our God. Let us be united in our faith. Let us offer prayers of thanksgiving. Let our family sing praise to our God. Let our family sing praise to our
Your requested song. Our favorites. Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
I am on my way to eternal life. I wanna live forever with God and His Son, my Savior Christ. His Son is coming on Judgment Day, and He will live forever. All those who have obeyed, but we must pass the trials that we will face, so that we can make it to the end of our race, and we'll receive the promised salvation, and we will be with God in His holy kingdom.
I'm waiting for that day to come, the return of God's begotten Son, the one whom God has sent to redeem us from the sins that we have done. And even with all the tribulations that we face, we endure the pain and continue to keep the faith. The ways that we walk, always say, when we talk, always stay righteous, and never, ever should we stop being the lights of this world, who shine brighter than the sun, that will make everyone see we're God's chosen ones.
God will take away all of our fears. There will be no more death, crime, pain, no tears.
All the old things will pass away, and in that holy land forever we shall stay.
God promised His life that'll last forever, so don't do anything that'll put us in danger.
Don't exchange our faith for worldly things. Follow God with all of our hearts, for salvation He brings.
Hold on to what you have learned. Keep it in your heart. Stand strong and firm. We are the ones who conquer all's love. And He promised that someday to live eternally.
In each minute, He helped us realize just what we need to do. The duties He gave us are promised to be true. Whenever dismay, our Father Him we shall obey. Every trial makes us stronger, we're tied in bonds and never stray. When we are feeling down, His presence always brings us up. Instilling deep within us His true and all abiding love. True peace we will always gain. When things go wrong, we don't complain. Pray to Him to make us brave. Steadfast, we shall remain.
We shall remain in His church. We stay true to His holy words. Every time we step into the chapel, we know what it's worth. Being knocked down truly makes us hurt, but we forget all our pain through the comfort of His words, and we're blessed when He wakes us up to the morning light. Teachings we believe and we keep them as our guiding light. Everything He taught us in our hearts are planted deep, cause we have the true faith which will eternally keep. This may be erased.
All the more we keep our peace.
Blessings unto us ashore.
With His light He makes us pure.
Down we shall endure.
Don't be tempted, it's just a lure.
With faith and love we'll reassure.
We won't be hurting anymore.
Now that our path is clear and straight,
Trust our Father above to guide us to the Holy Land.
getting rid of all the hate.
From all sin we separate. In the end, we will be lifted up to that holy place.
Hold on to what you have learned. Keep it in your heart. Stand strong and firm. With God the ones who conquer all's love. And He promised that someday above we'll live eternally. God's promise.
Welcome back, everyone, to Faith and Melody. And we are in the final part of our discussion on grace in the growth, because we do know that when we are growing, when we are progressing, trying to work towards a goal or something in this life, there's always going to be setbacks that we experience. There's always going to be a problem along the way. It's not always smooth sailing when you're working towards improving yourself. You're trying to become the next level you, right? So, one thing that we want to ask here, especially for us, so that we don't become discouraged, we don't lose heart. How do you keep your faith? How do you keep your faith strong when progress feels invisible? Because sometimes when you are working towards a goal, right? You could be working for a fortnight, a month, 6 months, and it seems that nothing really has changed or nothing really has improved, or you haven't had any success or anything like that. How do you keep your faith strong during those times when it feels like the progress is not there, that it's not happening? So let us know your thoughts. But for me, the thing that I want to share is something that my wife, again, Jem, a shout out to her, shared with me, is that for her, she prays to God to guide her with decisions and trusting in what God can do for us. And that's one thing that we are always remembering, but also are always being reminded of, especially when we are attending our worship services, is that God always has the best plans for us. So always remember, one thing that I always try to keep in mind is that God's perfect timing with anything that happens in our life. And if things aren't going towards God's plan that He has set for us, right, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be something along the way that will kind of get you to step back, get you to sort of, analyze and take a moment to, see what's in front of you, see what you're doing, and find out if it still aligns with, what God wants for you or the things that you want to accomplish. Is this still the best way? God has ways to do that, right? So we always have to look for those examples, those moments, the times when God is sending us the signal, right? Or um, the who's answering us and telling us of what He wants. But patience really does play a role in God's perfect timing and waiting for His plan. Remembering that, you know, there are certain things that failure or a lack of progress, right? You got to remember that sometimes that is part of the process that you need to get to. Like your way to work out towards, let's go back to the whole example of lifting weights, right? Because it seems to be the easiest one for me to think of right now, is that you don't go ahead and start with the heavy ones, right? You work towards it, you build up, you strengthen your weak parts. Like what I mentioned earlier, one of my weak parts when lifting was, I actually eventually found out that it was actually my shoulders. If your shoulders aren't strong enough, it's part of a whole mechanism, right? They all work together. Your forearms, biceps, triceps, shoulders up to your connected to your body, right? They all have to work together. And if there's a weak point, that's generally where you're gonna experience the slowdown in your progress, and you need to identify it. So stepping back, analyzing, maybe getting some guidance, especially from people who are more in the know, more professional, your mentors, that sort of thing, right? That can help you. And you just have to remember that that is all part of it, right? If I just didn't even realize that, I might have just given up already. But then when you realize that, hey, I've got something else that I have to work on and strengthen and build up first before I can continue to progress, then if you don't realize that, you might give up. But for me, I did. I was patient on trying to work on that weaker part, strengthening it, and I got past that plateau. I was able to do more, be more efficient, become stronger, right? And I think that that's something that can be relayed on other parts in our life, that, hey, I'm trying to learn this new skill, editing. I know many people want to get into editing, but then they find it overwhelming, right? You got to start off something somewhere small and find out what is it that I don't understand, and see if there's a way for you to build up on it. And usually there is. There's usually someone out there. The thing is, if somebody out there can do it, then there is a way for you to learn it, right? If somebody out there has something that you want to achieve, there are, crumbs or like little bits of information that you can find to help you achieve that goal of what you want. So just remember that. And most importantly, don't forget to pray, right? Prayer, it's all about entrusting our plans, our goals to our Almighty God, and then being patient in waiting for His answer and waiting for God's perfect timing. Let me go ahead and just post this final part of our discussion, which is, what role then do your friends or even your community, the people that you hang around with or that you are exposed to the most, what role do they play when you're trying to stay disciplined? Because we all know that part of growth, you need self-discipline. You need to work even when things aren't comfortable, when you don't feel like it, right? You need to work towards your goal. You need to be disciplined. What role do your friends, the people around you, what role do they play when you're trying to stay disciplined? And while you're going ahead and sharing your insights on that, let me just go ahead and read this one from Rod, where he says here, consistent prayer is really the answer to that in terms of keeping your faith strong, right? When you feel things are invisible or things aren't happening. He continues on saying, having that hope keeps us going, trying your very best and not get tired, keep busy and active. Very, very true with there. And this other one that he shares, commit everything you do to the Lord, trust Him, and He will help you. Great reminder for each one of us is just you entrust everything that we do for our Almighty God, and trust in Him, and He will help us in the things that we want to accomplish in this life. Now, with this final part, what role do your friends or your community play when you're trying to stay disciplined? Rod shares with us accountability friends, right? Having friends that hold you accountable, having friends that check up on you, that call you up and say, hey, did you get your non negotiables done today? I remember that was shared in one of our episodes here. Having non negotiables, right? Things that this is a must that I need to do for today, and sharing that with your accountability partner, accountability friend. That could be your spouse, that could be a friend, whatever it is. And then they check up on you. It's like, I did my non-negotiables today. Did you? Right? Were you able to do it? And then just hold you. Why not? Like what went wrong? And then kind of like talking it out. It's important that we have friends that, just like what Rod says here, we all need to be reminded, right? Reminders are important. You don't realize how important reminders are, because there's so much things demanding our attention and our time, and that distracts us. All of these things are there every day, even the commute to work or the things that we want to do. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's a new TV show that just released a new episode. Oh, that's a distraction there. Oh, there's something else I have to work on. And right, reminders are important, and having a support system, a supportive friend or spouse or partner, it definitely makes a big difference. Choose your friends wisely. That one's for me, right? Make sure that you hang around with the people who encourages you, who lifts you up, who reminds you of the things that God has blessed you with, and reminds you of God's words, right? In terms of finding that strength, that faith, that courage, remembering to always pray, having that type of friend, right? That really aligns and resonates with our faith as members of the Church of Christ makes a huge difference in staying disciplined in what we want to achieve. Just remember that their perspective, our friends, the people that we do hang around with, their perspective, their point of view, their ideals on how they see different things in this world, their perspectives, it influences our perspective as well. You may not realize it, right? If you hang around friends who are constantly always sleeping all the time and not doing any work, then there's a very high chance that if that's what you're going to end up doing. Let's do something a little bit more positive. If you're hanging around friends who are constantly always going on adventures and traveling, right? What are the chances that you're going to end up going on adventures and traveling with your friends? If you hang around people who are always dedicated, right, in the work that they do, who are always showing love and care for the people around them, who are always kind, who are always supportive, who are always lifting people up when they feel down and giving them the positive words that they need, right? Giving them the positive affirmations. It really helps you become that type of person as well. So choose the people that you hang around with wisely. Here's one from Rod in terms of the acronym for the word friends. I like this. Friends really inspire each other, necessarily doing special things, right? So it's true that when we have the right friends, they can help us to become stronger, more disciplined, right? Help us to achieve our goals, help us up when we feel down, when we feel like things aren't going well. They are the ones to really help us. Oh, and also Des shares here with us, friends, community can make or break you. Don't let them define you and your purpose. Stay in the path, pray for guidance and discipline. So that is another great reminder for each one of us to take away, is that the people that we hang around with, our friends, it really makes a difference. The community, right? Everyone has a small circle of friends. We might have thousands of people on all the social media platforms that we are might be on, but the small group of friends that we really are surrounded with every pretty much almost every single day, they really do make or break you. So you do have to be careful. Choose your friends wisely, as we hear in our worship services as Christians. You always have to choose your friends wisely. And that's another good one here. I just want to quickly shout out uh, at the Cares or Carolyn Shang's topic. The Tuesday topic of here on Faith and Melody tomorrow is titled Looking Back. So make sure you tune in with that as well, right? Because I think we've mentioned that a few times, the importance of looking back on where you've come from to celebrate the small wins, looking back on how much you've grown. You might not see that you've grown a lot, but then when you look back on where you started, you realize that you should be grateful on how much you've actually grown. So that's the topic for tomorrow. They've got a lot more things to talk about than that. So make sure you join Carolyn Shank on tomorrow's topic here on Faith and Melody with Looking Back. And with that, I just want to quickly go through and say thank you to everyone that's been sharing their thoughts and their insights. We hope that you've taken something away from our discussion on the grace in the growth. Be kind to yourself, right? Setbacks, failures, they're all part of the process. The small wins matter, right? You're never alone in your journey if you have the right friends. Celebrate the small wins because the small wins make up the bulk of the main goal. They're all supported with the small wins. Celebrate your growth, right? Even when the growth is small, even though it starts off simple, celebrate those growth that you might go through. And just our Christian value for today's topic. Don't forget that we may stumble along our journey, but remember that God's grace is enough. Take heart in knowing that God walks with us and his guidance and strength helps you in weakness. Every small step forward made with faith is a victory in our Lord God's eyes. And before we close off our program, let's listen to our verse of the week here on Faith and Melody, which is titled, Why We Need Self-Discipline. So let's all take a moment and listen to this verse of the week.
Today, we're diving into something we all need, self-discipline, doing what we need to do despite the temptations that may come up. Successful people, including athletes, understand the value of self-discipline. That's how they're able to accomplish their goals and even become more resilient. But as Christians, can having self-discipline help us take care of our relationship with God and even gain a better life? I'm Brother Erwin Sunga, and we will answer this question in this verse of the week. Here in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 25 to 27. Every athlete in training submits to strict discipline in order to be crowned with a wreath that will not last, but we do it for one that will last forever. But I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified. Here the Bible reminds us that having self-discipline can help lead us to our greatest goal, God's promise of salvation, and as His servants, that is our ultimate goal. So just like athletes, let us have strict discipline, always live by our Lord God's commands in every aspect of our life, and include Him in every decision that we make. Let's find more ways to improve our services to our Lord God. And we should understand that making sacrifices goes hand in hand with having self-discipline. We hope that this verse of the week gives you the inspiration you need to start your week. Stay safe, stay strong, stay faithful. God bless.
Thank you again to Brother Erwin. That was definitely an inspiring and very important reminder for each one of us to take away, to give us that extra inspiration for this new week ahead. And before we close off the show, I want to say thank you to everyone, especially our Ohana, our live chat viewers that joined us here on our broadcast today, that joined me. Of course, a special thanks to my wife, Jem, and to our daughter, Lena, who also helped me prepare myself for today's broadcast, all here in the past 2 hours. Quick shout out as well to our technical team over in our main studio, our brothers there in the main studio in the Philippines, our Kuya Nico and Kuya Irene. Thank you so much for staying up with us as well. Yes, of course. To Sister Des Asenas and Brother Edwin Asabuke, and our INCRadio station manager, Brother Wally Taray, and special thanks and gratitude and everything to our CEBSI President and CEO and CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and to the Executive Minister of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, our beloved brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for platforms like this and many more that helps us to reach our fellow friends and loved ones and to be able to share our faith. Once again, thank you for joining us. I'm Jay from Australia, and I've been your host for today's broadcast. Hope today's episode has given you a positive start to your week ahead. To close off our episode, we'll be listening to the song requested by our very own Kuya Rod Kahayag, which is titled Eyes on the Prize. So let's all enjoy that. And join us again tomorrow on the next episode of Faith and Melody titled Looking Back. Until then, see you everyone. Have a great start to your week. Bye for now.
Your requested song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.
Now is the time to wake up and be heard. Don't be scared, nothing can stop us. We are guided. Hold on and stand. Fight on and give our all. Don't draw back. Our God will give us the strength we need.
song, our favorites, Faith and Melody Heartbeats.